today's video, we're going to talk about how to maximize your time when reading assigned chapters. So in nursing school, and this is both graduate and undergrad, you are going to be assigned a ton of reading. When I say a ton, I mean like one unit, you might have 120 pages. And that's a lot. It's a lot of information to take in. In nursing school, you've probably all seen the pictures of people who stand there with their nursing books and they're literally like this high. It's a lot of information that you need to cram into your brain to become a nurse. So in school, you're going to have different modules, and you'll have a PowerPoint that your teacher gives in class, and then they will also assign a reading. And you know, when nursing school first started, it's like, oh, one chapter for this module, one chapter for this module. But as you continue and you get into more things, and you know, med surge and OB, peds, all of it, you will then start to see, oh, chapters 1 through 15 are for this module, and it's just a lot of reading. So I personally think that you need to understand your learning style. So if, for example, reading is not your learning style, there's different ones. There's reading, listening, tactile, and like teaching. So there's different types of learning, and you need to first know if reading is one of your types of learning. So for me personally, I do learn from reading. I learn from a mixture, like listening and reading. So some people can listen, right? They can just go to the lecture, listen to the teacher talk, and remember 80% of what the teacher says, right? So for me, listening is part of it, but it's not like my full reading. I could not just go for the lecture and take the exam. However, some people are lucky and that's their learning style and that's all they need to do to be successful. However, if that is not you, it's also important to identify, is reading part of your learning style? So if it's not, if you don't take in anything that you read, then I don't really recommend reading all the chapters. It's just going to consume a ton of your time and you're not going to really take it in. If that is your learning style where reading does not help you, I would definitely look through the chapters and take a peek at all of the charts and pictures, because those are important things that you probably will need to know. There's usually summaries at the end of the chapters, and I would read the summary. So if reading doesn't help you, I would look at the charts and I would read the summaries of every chapter, and then you have to outsource other things. So if re-listening to the lecture, maybe do that. If, you know, maybe doing, like, if you work well with like a teach back method, you know, put on a fake thing where you're teaching what you learned. So, you know, whatever it is, pretend like you're talking to a class about it. Or maybe something like practice problems is better for you, then do those. So really identify what your learning style is. However, let's say that reading is something that does help you. How do you read all of these chapters? So what I would do is there's different things that you can do, because I did look this up when I was in nursing school. So some people say to read the first line and the last line of every paragraph, and then take a look at the charts and then read the summaries at the end. So you can do that. If you feel like it's just way too much to read all the chapters, you can do that. However, I personally am a perfectionist, so I want to read all the words. Like, that's just me. I want to read all the words. So what I usually do is I do a mixture of like a skim and a read. So I'm not going through and reading like every single word, but I am looking at most of the information. And for me, the only way I could do all the reading, because I truly did all the reading, there might have been a couple chapters that I just didn't get to or something like that, but it is to break it down. So I read a book recently called Atomic Habits, and I think that this is a perfect application to talk about the book, because what the book talked about is doing habits every single day, or doing things every single day, a little bit every day, adds up to one big thing. So for me personally, I would do reading from the chapters or homework in some sense every single day, minimum an hour, but there were some days I did 14 hours. Like, it just depends. And if you're in nursing school, there are those days right before the exam where you're sitting down reading all the information for 12 hours. You do have those days. But what you don't want to do is let the reading build up. So if, say, you have a week for this one module and there's 100 pages in this module before the exam, you want to break it down. Or, okay, say you have 1 week for a module, and then so there's 3 modules and then there's an exam. So you have 1 week for each module and then the exam. I would chart it out. I would say, okay, so we have the exam on X day. I want to be able to do practice problems and review my notes for 4 days before the exam. So I would mark that. Then I would see how much time I had for the reading. So I'd be like, okay, module 1, I have about 7 days till we start module 2. So I want to get all the reading done for module 1 in 5 days, and then I can start module 2. So say module 1 has 100 pages, that then breaks down to 20 pages for 5 days, right? So I can do my to read 20 pages a day is not a lot. You could wake up in the morning, drink your coffee, read your 20 pages, or before you go to bed, or show up to class 20 minutes early, open your book, and read your 20 pages. If you do it that way, you can get through all the reading, and you would be surprised at what you remember. I mean, I would take my NCLEX and I would remember things that I had read. That's just how I did it. If you don't do that, what you're going to find is it builds up, and it builds up quick. And when I say quick, I mean, so say you have modules 1, 2, 3, each one is 100 pages, and now you're 5 days before the exam, you haven't done any reading. You still need to study all your notes, do practice questions, and read 300 pages. There's no way. You could sit there and read 300 pages, and you're just going to zone out, most likely. So I do not recommend doing that. I recommend, like the Atomic Habits book talks about, doing a little chunk every day. So I personally think in nursing school, something that helped me be very successful, and when I say successful, I graduated top 3 of my class. I was the class president. I put together the pinning ceremony. And I would also like to say that when I say top 3, I did not have fluff classes, because a lot of my classes transferred in from my previous degree. So I graduated top 3, but my GPA was only my nursing classes. So, and as you know, nursing classes are super hard. But the reason that I was able to do this is because I was very regimented, and I think that if you can be regimented in nursing school, you will be extremely successful. I had my planner, and in each day, there's a little box, or you could do it on Google Planner or whatever. I would make a task list for each day. So I knew Monday, I'm reading pages 20 through 40. I'm also doing the practice questions at the end of that chapter. I'm also reviewing the notes from the class 2 days before, and that's what I'm doing. And then Tuesday, I'm doing that same thing, but I'm reading different pages, I'm doing different questions, and I'm reviewing different notes. And I would do that, and then right before the exam review, what I would do is make study sheets from the slides. So, you get a slide, they're 100 slides, it's a ton of information. I would try to take all that information and compile it into 1 or 2 sheets. If you're talking about more advanced stuff, like when you get to med-surg, it might be 4 sheets, but it's a lot easier to look at before the exam 4 sheets, to just review those 4 sheets, than to have to go through 100 slides of information. So that's what I would do. So I would do my reading, I would review the notes, and when I say review the notes, that's usually creating those study sheets, and then do practice questions. And I would do that every single day. People who didn't do that right before the exam would be like, yeah, I didn't read any of the pages. I just reviewed the slides and re-listened to the lecture once, and then they'd go in and take the exam and not do well and be sad. And, it is a very hard thing to watch people not do well in nursing school, because deep down that they want it so bad, but it's who's willing to sacrifice. You're going to have to sacrifice going out with friends. You're going to have to sacrifice things that you love to do. So, but if you can create a regimented schedule, you can then put in the things you love. You know, so you can say, okay, I'm going to do all these things all week, and then Saturday I'm not doing anything. I'm hanging out with friends and going to dinner, or with your significant other or whatever, and that is like my day to relax. So when it's Wednesday and you're exhausted because you've been studying, you've been going to clinical, you've been doing everything on your regimented check sheet, you can be like, okay, 2 more days and I get to do what I want to do. And that can be just laying in bed all day and binge watching Bridgerton. Watch Bridgerton. It's so good on Netflix. Yeah, so that's how I think that you can be successful with reading chapters in nursing school. You know, create your plan, do a little bit every day, and you will do well. That's my advice. So I hope you guys found this helpful. I'm really enjoying the feedback. This video was a recommendation from somebody. So if you guys want to see videos on any topic whatsoever, just send me an email or comment below, or you know, just let me know, because I will make videos for what you guys want to see. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe below, and I will see you later. Bye.